Hey everyone, and welcome to 1.21 Jigowatts. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly movie news show where we work our way through the various news topics of the week. We have a box office section, we have a general movie section, we have a comic book movie section, and a horror movie section. Sometimes at the end of the show, if we've watched any random movies during the week that weren't for review purposes, that they'll be popping up in the channel in other ways, we'll discuss those. I don't know if we have any this week. I know I don't.
I've got a couple.
You got a couple? Okay, we'll find out what those are. And that might be exciting, maybe painfully boring. I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm falling on. But anyway, we start off with the box office. That is our usual shtick. And we look at last weekend. We did have predictions actually, and I forgot to get those up because I forgot that we do that.
Didn't you write them down on paper last week?
I did. You're right. I switched to paper because it was quicker to fix in situations like this.
Yeah. As long as you remember where you put the paper.
I've got it. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. We're good.
It's fine. We guessed for both The Meg and Slender Man. So
I don't remember what we guessed.
yeah, for The Meg I guessed 19 and you guessed 14. For Slender Man I guessed 9, you guessed 6.5.
Okay.
So what do you think was number one?
I happen to have seen some predictions for The Meg that we may have vastly underestimated.
You especially.
You're not that much closer.
I'm closer to half of what it is. Which makes yours particularly...
Yeah, all right. Let's move on.
So The Meg was number one, and it made 44.5 million. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that.
Pretty good.
It's not quite that size of shark big, but still a bit bigger than expected, I think.
It did that, and then if I look at the worldwide, I believe it did another 90. World.
Another 90.
International, yes. Yeah, so it's 141 million so far it's made.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, big shark
way
movies.
Better than I expected.
Yeah, doing fine. So that was number one. Number two was Mission Impossible Fallout, and its third weekend with 20 million. Probably about to check out what that was worldwide now. Actually, that's okay. 437. Yeah, 437. That's, I think, like I said, it was breaking the records for the franchise. I don't know if it's still the highest. It probably still is. Then Christopher Robin was number 3 with 12.4 million, and then Slender Man came in at number 4. And if you remember, you guessed 6.5, I guessed 9. The actual amount was 11.3 million.
Okay.
So I feel all right about my guess for that one. That's pretty close. And then number 5 was Black Klansman at 10.7 million. Number 6 was The Spy Who Dumped Me at 6.6 million. Number 7 was Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again with 5.8 million. Number 8 was The Equalizer 2 at 5.5 million. Number 9 was Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. That was like 3 things in a row that are sequels that I didn't think merited sequels. It's weird.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen any of them, admittedly. Just from my passing knowledge.
Oh, I have unfortunately seen Mamma Mia.
And then number 10 is Ant-Man and the Wasp with 4 million. So there you go.
Just something that happened last week actually, but we never mentioned relating to the box office. Apparently, some places are still showing Black Panther.
Oh
because it's ticked up enough that it is the third movie ever to cross 700 million domestically.
Which is notable because it's been out in Blu-ray and on demand for a while now.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any cinema still showing it, but
there'll be a couple of special screens, and they'll just be like really die-hard loyal fans who are just going like every week. So it's still out. Let's go see it again.
Yeah.
And it's just because, do you know what I think it is? I think they were so close to like, no, what, we can trickle this in just every little bit, every little week.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
Maybe, but I was impressed because I mean, the dude obviously has done all sorts of records and done extremely well, but I assumed there was more than 3 movies already that had done that domestically.
Oh, not domestic. Yeah, 700's huge. That's a.
Yeah, I just assumed there was at least 5 or 6.
That's why I think the next giant milestone we're kind of building towards is 1 billion domestic. Which obviously we're still a while away from. We're at 300 million away from it, but
we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But...
and if we're hitting 1 billion domestic, then what are we hitting worldwide on average? Like 2.5 for that movie. You know, if a movie does 1 billion domestic, is it doing another 1.5 internationally?
Probably a reasonable assumption.
Yeah. But yeah, so we should probably do some guesses for for next week. Nothing super exciting to guess. I think it's worth guessing for Crazy Rich Asians and probably Mile 22. Is that the only big stuff next week? What's Alpha? I don't know what Alpha is.
I'll be honest, I know nothing about Mile 22 except it's Wahlberg in it.
Ah, it's Wahlberg.
That's all I know about them. I don't know what the movie is. I know, oh, he's in it. I don't care.
It's him and the Cohen lady from Walking Dead, and they're transporting a prisoner through hostile territory, and they're getting attacked on the way. Which honestly, it sounds like the sort of plot that that's the sort of action movie I can get into, but it's Wahlberg. So
yeah, I like Cohen well enough.
She's fine. She's fine.
Yeah.
But
not Wahlberg so much.
No, not Wahlberg at all. So I wish to make some guesses for those. If I let's do Meg Week 2 as well. I think that's interesting enough at this point for Meg Week 2. So
all right.
We got Meg, we got Crazy Rich Asians, and we got Mile 22. What are you guessing?
Meg 20.
20, okay.
Crazy Rich Asians.
Which I just want to point out is higher than your guess for week 1.
It is, but hey, I'm taking the facts into consideration now.
Okay.
Crazy Rich Asians, I mean, let's go 25.
Alright, you think that's where you can find an audience? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think there's an audience there for it.
Yeah.
Mile 22, I mean, I hope it doesn't do that well, because who gives a shit? I'll probably do 27. Thinking close. I think
close.
Annoyingly it edges it out.
Yeah, I think Mile 22 will be the reason why the Meg makes less than it could do, because I think that's the same audience. I think Mile 22 is going to take from Meg's audience, so, or alternatively Meg might take from Mile 22's audience if the universal
word of
lines
mouth
properly.
is reasonable for the Meg, right? Yeah.
Matt didn't like it that much, and he was like, he was the target audience. Like he was the one who was gunning for it.
But I think Tim's seen it.
Yeah, I think Tim.
Someone else that we know has said that they really liked it and surprised that Matt didn't.
Yeah, they were into it. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, my guess for the Meg, I'm gonna go 17. I'm going a little bit lower because I think Male 22 will eat from it. Although I actually annoyingly agree with the 27 that I kind of want to just pick 27, but
for the sake of having some fun.
I'll go 26.
Okay.
26. And then Crazy Rich Asians. Just to be interesting, I'm going to put that above Male 22, and I'm going to put that at 29.
We're in the same ballpark though.
There's going to be an even spread, if you will. And then I think Mission Impossible. I mean, that got 20 this weekend. I think that'll probably still do about 10 and 12.
Yeah, it'll drop.
So I think the box office as a whole will be quite profitable next week, just spread across a lot. Because obviously during the summer you'll get the one movie that makes 100 million, and then everything else makes nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas this will be like an even spread of just kind of.
No, I think it'll be healthy. It's getting to that towards the end of summertime where people start looking at the cinema again. For the smaller movies.
Do you know, it's funny because we were talking about this just off air yesterday, or the day before, about how this month and last month has been very unmotivating because we have not reviewed a new theatre movie since Jurassic World, and that wasn't me. That was me and Matt. But me and Matt usually do the new movies. Not always, just depends on the movie. But for the most part, we do. And there's been no motivation for most of the movies that have come out in the last. And it's not that they've looked bad per se. I think Mission Impossible looks fine. I think the Meg looks fine.
The big movies you've had over the last couple of months have been Ant-Man, which me and you were kind of like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Incredibles 2, which I saw, but you're not as fussed.
I mean, I like the first one a bit decent enough, but I don't necessarily feel the rush to go out and see.
Yeah.
That. But it's just there's a lot of things where I think specifically Mission Impossible, Ant-Man, and then I'd probably throw Equalizer, even though I have no opinion on that, and a couple of the other ones. There's a lot of movies out in the last month or two that it's like, yeah, it looks fine, and they're sequels to movies that were fine. But
there are a lot of mid-tier movies that maybe if I'm at the cinema I'll go see them.
Yeah.
But I'm not making the trip just for them.
But the reason why I'm pointing this out is that things do pick up because we're looking ahead at like October, November, and December specifically, and things are packed with movies. Like, if you think we've been late on like new movie reviews in the last couple of months, don't worry, it's getting made up for in the winter.
Yeah, it's come. September's like we start picking up
We
again.
got a couple
right?
in September.
We got a
me,
couple.
Me and Tim have got the Nun, the Predators out, which obviously I'm looking forward to. That's a big deal. But once October hits, that's when things really start cooking.
Yeah. December's looking meaty.
Yeah, too meaty, honestly, given the time of
Yeah,
year.
well, in December, I think we have what we got? We got Aquaman. We've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We got Bumblebee.
Alita.
Yeah. I feel like I'm missing something as well, frankly.
Yeah, but I mean that's already a hell of a slate, and
it is.
But yeah, so a lot of movies coming later in the year, and obviously.
Do you know what's really interesting as well? Is there are a lot of blockbusters coming later in the year. You know, I expect the Oscar style movies to come, you know, at that time of year, whereas and then maybe one or two.
Joe, it's funny actually. I'll warn you now, folks. Me and Matt will review Venom, even though neither of us are excited. It bears worth talking about. However, that is the movie that is affected by the week that Connor's away on vacation, Matt's away at Tim's wedding, so it'll be a week late.
Tim's at his wedding, obviously.
And Tim's at his wedding, obviously. So it'll be a week late, and I'm not even that upset because it's Venom. It's whatever. I'm happy that's the movie they got hit with that week.
Not great. Something you're excited about, and because that's the problem when it's a movie that you want to watch, but okay, we're going to review it, but it'll be a week late. You think, do I not go and see it straight away? Do I wait until close to the review?
If it's something I was excited enough for, I'd like screw it, I'm doing it on. I'll just sit here on my own and talk about it. It's fine.
Yeah. If it was Halloween.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm not waiting for Tim. If he's away during Halloween, he suck it, Tim.
Yeah, I mean he's only missing it by a couple of weeks, right?
What? Oh yeah. He's not missing Halloween. He's missing the first couple of weeks of October.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like he's only missing that time period.
And don't worry about stream content during that time, folks. We are banking episodes. We've already got a good couple of weeks of October-thon in the bank.
To maybe an unhealthy amount.
No. Perfectly healthy. We've not overlapped with last year's amount yet. I don't think we will.
No, you did a stupid amount last year. Didn't
I don't think we can. Last year we were doing 5 movies a week plus a countdown episode, so we had 6 Screams episodes a week last year. There's no way we're hitting that this year. No way. I think 4 a week is looking pretty lately.
It's not bad, given that Tim's
bad.
off away for a week getting married.
Yeah. So that ain't too bad. So you can look forward to that. And for the week that everyone's gone but me, because there's a pocket of time in that month where I'm on my own. Everyone's away doing something. I'll think of something to do that week. Some one-off thing I can do for a week. I don't know.
Yeah, don't know what you're gonna do with the news episodes.
I think I'll just solo the news that week. I don't see the point in because otherwise we're going to have super big news episodes the following week. So I'll just
unless nothing that interesting happens, and be like, we'll just do a big one.
Just watch.
Yeah, there'll be something huge.
Earth-shattering news, but
I think we're avoiding New York Comic Con, which is usually it's October, right?
It's October, yeah, but it's later in the month, I think.
Yeah, I think it is this year.
Yeah. So this turned into a discussion of what's going to happen when.
Oh no! That's really early in the month, 4th to the 7th. I leave on the 11th. So
join me for a special solo New York Comic Con edition of news that week, and we'll have a delightful chat about that. Me and Connor, we'll have a movie and we'll have a Star Trek and stuff ready to go for the week that he's away, so that not everything's taking a time off, but all
the time relative stuff.
Yes, which at least right now there's not a ton of.
It's not a minute, no.
No, it's just if Netflix launch a show that week, that'll get hit.
And they might.
That'll get hit.
Venom, obviously, we've already spoken about.
Sorry?
Venom is getting affected.
Oh yes, Venom's getting affected, but I don't really care about that.
Yeah, Venom,
I mean, if the show that they put on that week is the one that I think they'll put on, I might do that on my own. Because if I've got nothing else to do that week, if everyone else is away and I'm not recording anything else, I'm like, well,
I'll have it finished in 3 days.
Yeah, I might as well just work through the 10 episodes and do it myself. But I mean, they might not. I'm expecting the haunting adaptation that what's his face is doing it from those all Netflix movies.
Yeah.
From Gerald's or Gerald's Game and
guy did Oculus, right?
Yes. Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
I would say Mike Flanagan.
That sounds right. Yeah. And I knew the guy you were talking about, so it's fine.
Him. But hey, so with that out of the way, which that was half box office, half here. There's a weird week in October where everyone's gone but me.
The reason you're getting that on a few different shows this week is because we kind of only just realised that all happens at the same time.
Yes, because I realised that Connor's vacation, which was booked in advance and not even by him. You had no say in this.
I came home from work one day and was like, "Oh, we're going on a holiday in October." I was like, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah, and then I was looking at the schedule and I was like, sort of like, "Oh, please tell me Matt's back from the wedding for that week so that comics isn't affected." And luckily, I mean, it may be a little bit late, but luckily it's worked out okay. But it was like, damn, why did everything have to align? No one's missed like a full week like this in a long time, and it all happens at once.
Yeah, the comics one's particularly weird because that's not missed a single week yet.
No, and if I can damn sure ensure it never will until we're dead.
I mean, you can try.
We'll try. I mean, here's the thing. See if something like this happened and it was on a week 5 of the comics, I'd consider just letting the week skip.
Yeah, it's only a couple of annuals.
But on a regular week, nah. We got to do it. We got to somehow find a way. Life finds a way. Male Fuzz finds a way.
I think what the listeners here should take out of this is the sheer dedication we have to scheduling content in some form or another.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll move on then. We'll move on to the comic book movie news, shall we? Let me get rid of this box office crap. Where's my document? Oh, there it is. I'm all.
Sorry, we got the most exciting news of the week in this section, don't we?
That's not first. I know what you're talking about. Brace yourself. It's coming later.
That's how exciting it is. Got to build up to it.
Alright, I'm just scrolling back to the top. I was down in the middle somewhere editing something. Alright, so, first up, here's something that I did not expect, because there's a TV show with this right now, but Supergirl, there's a Supergirl movie in development at Warner Brothers. Now, admittedly, I know what you're going to say. They've announced so many goddamn movies, why should I be surprised at any of them? But this one's a little bit, like, sure, they're doing a Flash movie, but the Flash is like, a main Justice Leaguer, and it was like, he was always going to get a movie. Supergirl is a little bit more surprising.
I mean, you say that, but Supergirl had a movie before Flash did.
Sure, I'm not saying it's surprising because Supergirl's gonna. I'm saying it's surprising because there's a fairly successful TV show on right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I just went, yeah, of course they are. It just didn't faze me at all, this news, because I expect them to greenlight about 6 things a week right now. So it was only a matter of time till we got this one.
Yeah, well, they've got Oren Uziel working on the script, and what's interesting here is that a lot of the news sites, are speculating that this is kind of their back doorway into kind of soft rebooting Superman. Is that this will actually set the new tone and the new the House of L's series of movies will be kind of set up by this. Which I love from the perspective of, Supergirl has to come and save Superman because they've messed him up so bad.
Yeah. The problem, as I can see, okay, this is successful. They'll go, okay, we'll just do a sequel to this, and I can see them just borrowing some Superman stories and adapting them for Superman, much like the TV show does, and that's fine for the TV show. But
do you know what I think's notable about this as well is that I think because of the success of Wonder Woman, they're exploring a lot more female options.
There is, because I mean, I don't know how even it is, but it feels like there's quite a lot, because we've got this, we got the Harley movie, we got the Birds of Prey movie with Harley,
Batgirl.
We've got Batgirl, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's 4 or 5 right there.
No, sure, there's a lot more male ones. I mean, obviously there is, but compared to Marvel's been going for 20 plus movies, and they're only just getting to LED movies, so
yeah, we got one in 2 more announced. We got the Black Widow one coming at some point. I think
that seems to be something that's happening. It's also interesting. I don't know if we spoke about this last week, but we might have done when we were talking about one of the other updates. But it seems like we were talking a while ago that past 2019, it felt like there was no DC movie set in stone. But seemingly right now, from the various reports, is that Flash is shooting. We talked about this last week for sure. The Flash is shooting early next year. They're kind of looking in spring for that. It seems that Birds of Prey and the Batman are both aiming to shoot next year as well. So it looks like right now that 2020's slate for DC would be the Flash probably first, because we know that's shooting first, and then Batman and Birds of Prey in either order.
I think Batman, because they put out their thing this week of, okay, here are all the producers, that info, which Affleck was still listed on the producers.
And to be fair, yeah, it was into the producers, but not in anything else.
No, that's what I mean. Worth noting that's there. So he's involved in some capacity.
I feel like that's just because he's still tied to it contractually, but he's probably not going to be starring in it.
Quite possible.
He'll probably get an executive producer credit for like the next 10 movies, but that's him done.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a decent slate. Like, I mean, that's fine. And Birds of Prey, of course, we've been hearing a lot of news about that recently, so it does seem like it's gearing up in some capacity.
Yeah, I've seen them. But... They're looking for a cast for their Black Canary. I've been seeing reports about that. So that's cool.
And casting, we're at the point where they're actually talking about casting. We're not just rumoring, and we're not just like guessing ourselves in fan casting. When they're actually talking about casting and that's leaking out, that means they're a little bit further ahead. It means they're actually...
That means they've got at least a part of a script that they can base something on.
And they've got an idea for when they want to shoot, because they want to get the cast in place for it.
Yeah, they want to start contracting in times.
And again, it can obviously fall apart, but right now, that's a pretty good 3-movie slate for the year, right? If that goes to plan. And obviously with DC, I wouldn't assume it goes to plan, but if it goes to plan, and maybe this will be the start of the ship turning.
Yeah, because we got, 3 next year?
Yeah, next year we got Shazam, we got the Joker movie, and we got Wonder Woman 1984.
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh every time I remember
it's
that.
It's insane how fast-tracked that Joker movie's going.
Of all the things to be like... I mean, part of me appreciates they're going, do you know what? No, this is a lower-budget one.
Sure.
That's fine. We can get that out like a lower-budget movie.
I can respect that. I don't like that it's a Joker movie, but I respect that idea.
I like the idea of, okay, comic book movies, we can do some lower budget things and we can just get them out, right?
Yeah, no, I like that too. I mean, Birds of Prey shouldn't be that expensive. Compared to like a Superman and a Justice League. And
compared to those, no. More in line with a Batman, though, maybe.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Batman gets the same budget as a Superman and a Justice League anyway, just because he's Batman, but he doesn't need it.
You don't need it, no, but more in line with what a Batman budget should be.
But Nolan's movies, and presumably this, Reeves one, were still like 150 million. You don't need that for a Batman movie. You just don't.
No, you don't.
But Birds of Prey can be sort of mid-tier budget, really. It can be, if they want to.
Yeah, it probably should be.
Yeah, it probably should be. So yeah, I mean, as for the Supergirl movie news, I mean, I like the character a lot. I enjoy the show has its faults, but I love Benoist as Supergirl. So casting anyone else in that's going to be
a lot to live up to, right?
It's going to be rough there. But I mean, obviously, I like a good Supergirl movie. I wouldn't say no to one. So sure, if you're going to make it right, do it properly, and I'll be into it.
So yeah, I mean, I say it's unlikely at this stage still that that'll happen. But sure, if it's good, I'll enjoy it.
I wouldn't say it's unlikely so much as I would say that outside of the 3 we were just talking about that seem maybe a little bit more set in stone now for 2020, I would say everything else they've announced is like a pick and mix, where 3 of them will probably happen in 2021. I just have no idea which 3. It could be any of them.
I mean...
So you say it's unlikely. I think there's let's say there's like 20 other movies. It's probably more than that. I think there's a 1 in 9 chance.
How many other movies have they? I mean, what have they actually got?
I worked it out a while ago. Before this announcement, obviously. I think it was when they announced. God, I can't remember. Whatever the last one when they announced was. I remember working out. It was something like 28 movies. There was more than what the MCU already had. I know that much.
Because I'm just trying to think. Because ignoring the ones that we're talking about for 2019, 2020, you've still got then Batgirl, this Supergirl. There's still supposed to be a Green Lantern movie. I think there was supposed to be a Cyborg movie.
Well, to be fair, you say Green Lantern as if that one's dead and on arrival. That's actually got a lot more news going into it right now than a lot of the other ones do.
Yeah,
that's got John's attached to write it, and it's just got a new producer. I think
it does, but it's another one of those that like the Flash. I felt for a long time was just.
Oh no, sure. I'm just saying you're putting in the same boat as Cyborg, and I think that's inaccurate.
That's what I'm just out of the ones that they're going to choose from, right? Those are the ones still happening. technically.
Oh, there's way more than that technically happening.
Yeah, that's like there's
Like,
loads.
hold on. Batgirl, Supergirl, the Harley Quinn movie, Suicide Squad 2, Man of Steel 2, some sort of Justice League 2, Black Adam,
There was a different Joker movie, the Jared Leto Joker movie.
yeah, Jared Leto Joker movie, Green Lantern Corps. If I didn't say that, I don't think I said that already.
No,
That's about 10 already, right? Yeah. And then I'm sure there was a couple of weirder ones.
I'm sure there was.
But the point being is that there's so many of them that I think unlikely is oddly the weird word. It's more like it equally has like a 1 in 6 chance or something like that compared to the rest of them.
The more they announce, the more unlikely each one becomes because the odds are reduced.
Bizarrely, I don't think so necessarily. I feel like it's more like the ones at the front that just get announced have more chance than the ones that have been forgotten about and not mentioned in a while. I think Black Adam's as good as dead at this point.
I think it depends how Shazam does.
That's true. Well, no, but I don't think we'll get a Black Adam movie. I think we'll get Black Adam as the villain in Shazam too. If
Quite
Shazam
possibly,
as well.
Yeah. Maybe they'll do a Black Adam movie and then do like they'll spin him out of the Shazam 2 maybe.
I don't really want a Black Adam movie, to be honest. I think he works better as a character in Shazam, but I mean, whatever.
I disagree with that. I think him in Kandak is excellent stuff.
No, I like that as part of 52. I don't know if I'd actually want that as a movie on its own with just him as the main character.
Oh, I do. I'd want that.
I don't think I can attach to him enough to be into that movie.
Fair enough.
And I like Black Adam. This is not me saying I dislike Black Adam, but I just don't think that works on its own as a movie, I guess is what I'm saying.
It does for me from what stories I've read.
Yeah, if they're going to do it, they'll do it, and I'll see how it is. But like,
yeah.
But like, yeah. So
much.
Yeah. Anyway, we did actually get a little bit of news as well on Birds of Prey. Actually, the rumored villain now, according to the Wrap from their sources, is and what's funny is I'm pretty sure when we were, because they mentioned when they announced all the characters, they announced Cassandra Cain, Renee Montoya, Huntress, Black Canary with Harley Quinn. They did say a Batman villain, and I'm pretty sure my first guess was Black Mask, and that is who the rumored villain is now.
Okay. I think it's still a little bit low key for all 5 of them.
I think Black Mask is as high key or low key as you make him. Really, how powerful is he? How big an army does he have? How dangerous is he? I think he could look cool on film. That black skull could look really cool.
That is a fair point. He's the sort of one as well. I'd see okay, we get in someone else as the muscle side of things. Maybe we bring in like Croc.
Oh sure, yeah. Maybe not Croc because of Suicide Squad and they want to be different. Maybe
I forgot about that.
Maybe like Grundy, maybe. Or maybe
I'll be honest, I forgot we had Croc in Suicide Squad.
Or maybe even someone smaller. Maybe Tweedledee and Tweedledum or something like that.
That'd be cool.
So some of these C-list Batman villains who are kind of muscly. Yeah, I could see that being a thing. But no, I think Black Mask is like a really high tier C-list Batman villain, and I think that's kind of perfect for Birds of Prey.
Fair enough.
Maybe a B-. He's in that kind of range. I like Black Mask. I don't love him, but he's a great like crime boss to have around.
No, he is good in the crime boss stuff. I feel like it's rare that I like him as the antagonist himself. I like him when he's like off on the side as well as other people.
Maybe they're just not written the right Black Mask story for you yet.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because I actually feel stronger that way towards Penguin than I do Black Mask. He's fine to be around, and I don't mind him being there, but like him as the villain on his own, I'm like, eh.
I feel like Penguin's got a bit more personality than Black Mask, though, to at least give him something.
Sure, I don't know. I don't know. Penguin, I like as the arms dealer. I like as like the side character who's got the casino lounge, the ace lounge.
I think that's why Penguin has a little bit more pull for me in terms of how he plays as a solitary villain. In that he has a public face as well. Where Black Mask, okay, no, he's just a crime boss. He's just the villain. Whereas Penguin has a public persona where, okay, he has a business.
Yeah,
I
suppose that's fair. I think I get that though from. I mean, I know this is a different character, but I kind of get that from Superman with Lex. I guess is my thing.
Yeah, no, very, very similar sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Lex is obviously better than the Penguin. I'm not going to try and
Yes.
argue that one.
I'm glad you're not fighting on that point. But yeah, so but I think Black Mask is a good choice if that turns out to be true, and I can see it maybe being tied to like whatever Huntress's story in the film because she's got mob ties.
Yeah, yeah. I assume we're going the Bert and Ellie route with a Huntress.
I would think so. Yeah.
And that makes sense to me.
It doesn't seem like this movie world makes sense to have the kid of Bruce and Selena.
No, it's gonna be Helena, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be Helena. And then you have Cass, and that brings in Renee. If she's still a cop, it makes sense that she's involved in a crime boss like that. Yeah. And then I don't know how exactly you get Cass. Maybe Shiva's with.
Oh, that's true. Do she throw Shiva in?
She could be like one of the muscle, or maybe. Well, I mean, she's muscle and she's a good fighter, but less muscle and more the highly tactical, skilled one. That
I'd personally want to save Shiva for a sequel and kind of build to that with Cass.
You could have her around, but not have her be defeated. Then, like she's kind of like sneaks off into the night, so it's still building to the next one.
No, fair enough. I think just to tease the mystery a bit more for me.
Maybe. Well, what if she's around, but we don't find out till the end that Shiva's her daughter or mother? Spoilers, by the way, folks, in case you don't know that from the comics.
Yeah, good too.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe that's the post-credit scene. As you see Shiva watching from a distance, oh, my daughter's coming out hiding.
That's a good post-credit scene, I think.
Maybe that. Anyway, so moving on to a different side of things. Just a quick update on the James Gunn stuff. Apparently Marvel want him back. It's Disney who made the call to get rid of him, and Marvel are actually lobbying to get him back in some capacity. And the reports about this are saying that none of this is like heavy-handed or there's like infighting between them. It's more just they're having like civil conversations where Marvel really want him back. And this was apparently prompted by the cast publicly declaring their loyalty to James Gunn. And Marvel like, hey, look, at this point it's a bad image not to have him back.
Yeah, I saw earlier in the week as well, Batista was saying, if they don't use Gunn's script, I'm quitting.
They've basically already confirmed that they are using his script.
They confirmed that after he said this.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of worse for me, right? Like, to me, I'm like, okay, you're firing him because of his image, but you're fine using his work still. That's kind of shitty.
Again, but that's the kind of thing, though. It wasn't Marvel that fired him; it was Disney. Marvel are the ones making the call to what to use. It's Disney.
No, it's true.
I mean, sure, Disney could they strong arm and say, "Hey, you're not allowed to use that script." I mean, they probably could if they wanted to, but they're not. Yeah. I don't think they are. Well, clearly they're not. So, yeah, Batista's very vocal. Actually, he was in another interview this week, and he said, "Oh, working for Disney's hell." And I'm like, "Damn, you're getting really vocal about this."
Yeah. He was saying the idea of working for someone who can be manipulated into firing someone just like that is horrific. Yeah.
What's weird though, because it is one step removed from Marvel, because it's like the parent company, it does feel like a very corporate thing, right? It feels like this has come down from corporate. This isn't Feige who's making these calls. This has come down from corporate.
Which I think is worth knowing, because that was a conversation we were having early on as to who's making this call. Are they all on board?
Yeah.
And clearly not. Maybe they were, and
I'm still of the opinion it was a snap judgment, and whoever made it probably regrets it and probably regretted it within like a day. But at that point, I was like, no, I'm sticking to my gun so I don't look an idiot.
Yeah, no, that's it, isn't it? You kind of got to dig in and then stick with your choice, and at least try and convince people that you made the right choice.
Yeah, but I mean, so if he does end up back in some capacity, it's possible. The sites are being kind of skeptical about this, though. They're kind of saying this, it's still unlikely, but it's better than what we were hearing a week ago. So.
Yeah, but other reports are saying he's very in demand elsewhere now.
He is in demand, yes. Apparently, multiple studios are wanting him for big blockbuster movies, and I think it's too much of an obvious joke to say, "Oh, DC should get him for something," and
I feel like the what you do is in the comics, and also very recently, DC got a prominent creator back from Marvel, and went, "Hey, Marvel weren't letting you do that Fantastic Four book. Why don't you come over here and do a version?" And just did a knockoff Fantastic Four. Actually, hey James Gunn, do you want to come and do not Guardians?
Do a Green Lantern core movie. It's essentially Guardians. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
have your space tone fun.
But I get why he wouldn't want to do that, because it's just too similar. He'd want to do something different. But I mean, I said at the time, I think like his career was going to be fine. I think if this is the consequence for him making those tweets and then deleting them, then I still think it's not ruining his career going forward, and that seems to be the case. The fact that other studios are actively seeking him out for things already is like, no.
I think it was really down to the public perception and things like the cast coming out in support of him. I think if the cast hadn't made a public announcement and things like that, he might not have been in so demand, because other studios might look at it and go, maybe he is tainted. Maybe.
Even by the time the cast letter came out, though, like, the public opinion was already largely on his side.
Yeah.
And even if the cast weren't supporting him, there was lots of other famous faces on Twitter. There was a lot of other celebrities vouching for him. So I still think it'd have been fine, but it certainly didn't hurt.
It was very much the court of public opinion, wasn't it?
It certainly did not hurt, though, having that cast letter. So moving on. Oh, here's the good stuff. So Sony are determined to do this Spider-Man universe, even though it's not connected to their actual Spider-Man movies, because it's weird and they're desperate and pathetic. But so, first up, do you remember Silver and Black?
How could I forget?
This was the Silver Sable and Black Cat team-up movie, which when they announced, we went, really? But, you know, I'd heard of Black Cat, and I was like, okay, I mean, maybe this could be like a team-up thing. It's much better than their Aunt May idea and some of the other ideas. More on that in a bit. But they've announced this week that the Silver and Black movie is not going forward. But
which I think we knew that as well, because we knew it had been taken off the schedule a while ago.
Well, taken off the schedule doesn't mean cancelled.
No, but it was heavily rumoured to be cancelled.
And they've announced that it's not happening. But instead, they're both getting solo movies. The first one's expected to be Black Cat. The director they hired, Gina Prince Bythewood, or Bythewood probably. I just looked at that and said Bythewood. That's what it looks like. Bythewood, at high prices. Before it goes out of stock, Bythewood.
I thought you were telling me where she is. Oh, she's by the wood.
Bythewood. She was going to write and direct Silver and Black. She's departing, but she's still going to produce the separate films. So they're expecting Black Cat first, which makes sense because she's the one I think a lot more people have heard of. Because including us, we went, oh, we know Black Cat. She's the Catwoman knockoff.
They had her in Amazing Spider-Man 2, or not as Black Cat, but they were setting her up, right, with Felicity Jones.
Yeah, very minorly, I think. It wasn't.
No, but they were teasing it, and you know, they were talking about it, so people on the internet would have seen. Oh, okay, Black Cat.
I wouldn't have said that's like. I don't think that is why the public know who she is, though. More so than Silver Sable. Maybe
not, but I think just having those articles going around, like, you know how last week or whatever it was, or we had that latest Venom trailer, and I said, "Oh, who's that villain that looks like a Carnage knockoff?" This week, I've seen about 100 articles telling me that's Riot, and it's like, who's Riot? You know, that's not Carnage. Here's all you need to know, and they're just, you know, circulating around Twitter. So I'm sure that happened around the with Black Cat. That okay, some people will have seen that and just okay, that's Black Cat now.
Yeah.
I don't care about these movies.
No, I've got nothing else to say about it. It's just so now we have a Silver Sable, we have a Black Cat, we have Morbius.
Let's not forget Venom.
Obviously Venom, yeah. I mean that's almost without saying Venom.
I think it's worth noting Venom because this feels really similar to Universal's Monster thing, right? Where they were like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna do a universe." Yeah, Dracula Untold or whatever it was called. Yeah, this is it. We're starting it now. And this kind of feels that way with Venom, right? It's like, oh, yeah, no, this is it. And now, like, so all this is going to be, and then it's just going to be, okay, Venom will bomb, and then, oh, no, that wasn't part of it. And I felt we'll get that every movie.
I don't think any of these were supposed to connect, though. That's the thing. I think they can just keep doing them because they don't actually... Until they're successful...
I thought they were connected. I thought that was the implication, was this was their shared universe stuff.
Well, that is a shared universe, but there's like no implication of any actual connections between them. Like, At most, we're going to get like a little Easter egg cameo or whatever. Like, Nothing feels like it's building towards it. Nothing feels like it's, oh, it's all going to end in this big crossover thing where nothing feels like that.
Yeah.
So we got Morbius, we got Silver Sable, we got Black Cat, Venom. The one good one they announced was Silk, which actually seems like a good idea because that's another hero character that seems like a different type of character that can appeal to Spider-Man fans that may actually sustain a own movie. Good idea. All right.
Yes.
That's fine.
They got one.
They also announced a Nightwatch movie at some point. I don't even remember that. I don't know who Nightwatch is.
I remember talking about it and not knowing who it was then, and I've obviously forgotten again.
Yeah,
since.
I've forgotten. I have no idea who Nightwatch is. And then on top of all this, they announced this week that on top of all these ones that are in development, they have another one in development. Jackpot. Jackpot is in development.
Look, I just want to say, like 10 minutes ago, I was giving Warner shit for having too many movies in development.
At least you know what they all are.
At least, yeah, they're like C-level characters at worst for most of them. But who the hell's Jackpot? And also, they're not announcing 3 in one day because this Jackpot came the same day as the Black Cat and Silver Sable.
Yeah, I mean, that's murky because you could argue that, Silver and Black morphed into these two movies. So,
Okay, yeah, you announced them as a pair, sure.
Yeah.
But then this on the same day?
Yeah, so, yeah, Jackpot. Who is Jackpot? I don't know. I didn't even look it up. I don't care.
Shall I get a quick Google?
Look up Jackpot. All it says here is the character is a hero in her mid-40s.
Wikipedia is really unhelpful. It says because the first line on Wikipedia is Jackpot is the code name shared by 2 fictional superheroes.
The woman in her mid-40s. That's the one you're looking for.
Yeah, they're both women, so it doesn't. I mean, it's not really giving me that much. Character Jackpot first appeared in 2007 by it's another dance lot character.
Okay.
So we've had 2 versions of this character in a decade.
Well, needless to say, I don't think we care about a Jackpot movie, and that's not to say that it can't be good. That's the thing. Any of these Sony movies that are spinning out of kind of Spider-Man can be good if they're just good on their own. Although Venom looks bad. Venom looks actively bad at this point.
It does. It does. And I feel really cynical because it just feels like they're chasing the craze.
It does. It really does. But hey, we shall move on. So maybe a couple of quick things. I just want to briefly mention these just to round out the superhero or comic book section. Bloodshot. Guy Pearce is in talks to join the film to replace Michael Sheen, who had to exit the film due to scheduling and family conflicts. So Michael Sheen was in it, and now Guy Pearce is in talks to replace him. Short and sweet.
Okay, cool. I started reading Bloodshot like a few weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I started reading some Valiant stuff in general because I tried a bit here or there, and I thought, I'll give it a. There was a nice sale on Comixology, so I thought, I'll give it a try.
Okay, that's the only reason why, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a sale. I bought a bunch of it, therefore I shall read some of it.
Yeah, I feel like I should probably try and read some of what I buy.
Yes. What's to live and die by? So. Finally, in the comic book news section, Cowboy Ninja Viking has been pulled from its date, which was actually a lot sooner than I was expecting. They were fast tracking this to come out in June 28th, 2019, which is actually really soon when I think it. I was like, oh shit, that's less than a year away. And apparently, it's amid some hot rumors of heavy turbulence. They're not cancelling the movie. Universal are insisting and saying no, it's going to be rescheduled. We're just reworking the script, and we don't want to rush it when we know it's not ready. And apparently, because the script wasn't ready, people were starting to get worried that it wasn't. It was shaky and maybe a bit of a rough production because of that. Apparently, it's going to be a big budget movie. So the speculation at Deadline was that because it's so big budget, they want to make sure it's set before they
and not having to do all the reshoots. Yeah. I know there's some people thinking, the movie's dead. Given that we just got casting updates last week or maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Priyanka Chopra was just cast recently.
Yeah, given that we just got that, I feel like it's still going to happen. And this is more, okay, let's not have to reshoot half of this in a year.
Yeah, I feel like it'll probably be summer 2020 now, but that's probably a good thing. It'll probably end up in a better movie because of that.
Yeah, a reasonable time frame.
Yeah, Michelle McLaren's directing it, by the way. Just to remind you of that.
Yeah, it's a solid choice.
So that's the thing. So it was meant to start shooting mid-September. So it'll probably be sometime next year now. Whenever the next free slot in Chris Pratt's schedule is probably when it's
Probably
gonna
next
shoot.
June.
So moving on to the general movie news section, that comic book stuff now, and we'll start with the hotly debated item of the week: the Academy Awards.
Yeah, you ready for some hot takes?
Do you have a hot take?
I mean, I might do. It depends what's a hot take and what isn't, doesn't it?
So they made a couple of announcements this week. They had like a meeting, and they announced during the week the results of that meeting. So before we get to the big thing that I know we're going to make fun of, they announced that the show was going to be shorter, and this seems to be at the request of ABC are airing it next, and the ratings of the Oscars have been declining year on year for a while, outside of the odd bump depending on a big movie that might be there that year. And as a result of that, they want to make it shorter because, and I actually kind of agree with this decision to a point, because the Oscars, I mean, I didn't watch them live last time. I've kind of given up watching them live because it's such a long slog and it does drone on for far too long. But some of the recent like versions have ran to almost 5 hours. They are silly long. They're trying to cap it at 3 hours, which I think is a good idea. How they're doing it, I don't think it's a good idea, but the idea to cap it in general, what they should be capping is less of the fluff. That's what they should be cutting out of it. Instead, what they're going to do is what they're calling below the line awards are going to be done during the commercial breaks, and then we'll see edited compilations of those later in the night. Which means your sound mixing award, kiss that bye. That ain't going to be live anymore.
Every time, like, you know, because the other main one, I tend to watch stuff at award season. So I watched the Arsenal Arches at the BAFTAs.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been doing it like this for a while now, where, you know, your sound ones, even some of the big ones, I think cinematography gets the shaft.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That, I would argue that's like the second or third most important award, but regardless.
Yeah, I think it goes film, director, cinematography.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll say it right now. I think, I mean, it depends a little bit on the film and what type of movie it is, but more often than not, I will say the cinematography is more important than the actors.
Yeah. I say, yeah, it depends on the film. There are films where, no, this is just good because of the actors, right?
No, it can't be. But ideally, you want good cinematography as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, the point is that at the very least, it's equal to the actors because it's equally playing out a really large role in what the film actually is. But regardless, that's a whole debate for another time. That's just speculation at this point.
But we don't know which ones are getting the shaft yet.
We don't know. They're going to decide that closer to the time, presumably. I'll tell you right now my predictions here. I hope cinematography stays. What I think is gone, I think the sound mixing and editing's gone. I think costume design's gone. I think short film, short documentary, even maybe regular documentary might be gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure about costume. Again, this is based on some of the stuff at the BAFTAs that I see. They keep costuming because it's often very, you know, colourful to show the costume clips. And people like seeing that, apparently.
The ones, I mean, I don't think any of them should be cut because it's bullshit. If you're in that field, all of a sudden you're not getting celebrated to the same extent you were before because you're now off air.
Yeah.
And that's the bullshit part of this, and why it's a bad idea and why it's disrespectful to those people. But if you're losing some, the ones I'm worried that might go that I don't think should go is cinematography and composition, music. Those are the ones I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I think composition music's gone at the BAFTAs as well.
That worries me because the music, again, I think the music is like after the actors and obviously the script. I think music's like next in the list. You know, music should be there more than costumes. It should be there more than whatever.
Maybe this is my bias, but I think I can find music more important than a script because you can have no. Bear with me here. You can have some whatever dialogue, but you put some good music behind it, and that can give you the emotion.
Look,
the dialogue almost doesn't matter.
Good music can rescue something that's mediocre. That is true. But a truly great film is great because the script's great first.
That's fair.
And music enhances it. If the music's saving the movie, it's got a cap as to how good it is. There's a cap.
That is fair. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
So no, I can't abide by that. But you know, and then
but no, I think so. The problem is, like, what do they cut out in general? Because every year they try.
In fact, actually, I'd say music and editing are about equal when I think about it.
No, that's fair. Yeah,
and how they are.
Editing probably
which is, it shouldn't, but it probably will. Yeah.
Like they try every year to speed it up. Like, okay, well, we only get 30 seconds to give you a little speech, and they'll play the music. But everyone just talks through the music, and they think, oh, it's fine. I'll just talk for an extra 30 seconds, right? But then everyone does it, and it really adds up.
Yeah, because they always cut the wrong thing. Cut the stupid performances. And I know it's a show. I know you want to like have the big performances, but having the 5 best song nominees do their performance every year, and then having your like.
Do you know what the problem is? That like, as much as I don't want to see this performance, I want to see the awards and stuff. From their point of view as a broadcaster, they're going, what's bringing in an audience? I think live performances is part of the appeal to the average Joe who's watching this. I think they need to have those to try and get in the audience, especially times when you have good, like I know the Greatest Showman, that the performance of that people really enjoyed that, and people were talking about that a lot.
No, that's just kind of my problem though. There's the one that's the obvious winner, that's always like the one that everyone remembers for performance, and then there's the other 3 that almost no one's heard of, and just kind of happens to fill up time because it's fair, because you're supposed to have all the nominees perform the song.
But that is fair. That's the problem. You have to cut all of them or none of them, right?
Yeah,
you can't just
but here's my thing though.
We'll pick one.
I think Best Original Song is one of the most pointless categories. I don't like that category. In comparison to the rest of them, Best Original Song is nothing compared to Best Score. It is nothing compared to Best Editing. I would put your editing and mixing sound over Best Original Song. Original Song too. Is like a publicity thing. It's like, we've got a song we can promote for the film.
No, it absolutely is, and it's bullshit in the sense that for what the awards are supposed to be, and what's getting shafted instead of those, it's bullshit. But from a broadcaster, I understand it.
All the filmmaking awards are getting shafted, and then the one that's a song, which is related to a movie, but it's not actually filmmaking, is the one that's getting the most time. And even now it gets the most time because they get 4 or 5 performances. So it rivals the best film, because the best film, what they've been doing the last few years is that you get like the little montage of like 2 at a time throughout the whole broadcast, because there's like 10 of them. It actually rivals Best Picture in terms of how much time it gets because of all the performances.
It gets about 15 minutes, right? Because you get 2.5 minutes or so for each song, and then a couple of minutes for
feels longer to me, but that's just my tedious...
Yeah, I mean, sure, some songs are longer than others, but they're usually 2.5 to 3.5.
I don't know. It bugs me. I part of the reason why I just can't stomach watching it anymore. I'm just
just toilet breaks, isn't it? Time to go fill up your drink.
I'll play video games and just like, because honestly I had more fun just looking at Twitter every couple of minutes and just seeing who's
That's fair. I mean, I think I would be like that if I was watching it on my own. I watch it with my girlfriend. We have some fun with it. So I mean, there's something to be had for watching it. I can see watching it in a group being fun.
What you're saying is I should stream on Twitch and have people talking to me while I'm watching.
You might as well. Yeah.
I don't know. It seems I don't know. I don't think I want to do that. But yeah, it's rough.
I mean, it's worth noting that's not, as far as I know, that's not affecting this next Oscars though, right? The one that's in February.
Is it not?
No, because the date they're not moving that one either. Because after that, they're moving them earlier in the year.
Yeah, I just assumed it was the next one, but fair enough.
Well, because 2019 is staying in its same slot to, I think it's like the 27th of February.
Actually, is this because technically they'd have to move the deadline for the movies as well, so they can't move this year's?
Maybe.
Is that why they can't move this one?
Maybe. It might be just to do with broadcasting, where it's already slotted in and what's already arranged and scheduled.
Fuck, they make movements like the week before sometimes. I don't see why.
No, they do, but in terms of the production, in terms of booking everything,
sure,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big show.
Yeah, but I know that. So the one from 2020 is moving.
What
from
they need
the end
is
of February to
Jeff
start.
Keighley to come over and show some of that video game awards skills and get that going.
Oh yeah, that'll be way better.
Well, if you get the guy to make the way out to show up and give his opinion on the Oscars live on stage, it will be better.
I mean, that would be, but if we had Keely there, it would just be like exclusive reveal.
Hey,
here's an announcement
that would make the.
movie.
Let's be honest here. We watch the video game awards because we want the reveals. That's what we're there for.
It's true, yeah.
Right. Hey, imagine this. Imagine the Oscars were like the Super Bowl, right? And you were getting like 5 or 6 new trailers for big movies you hadn't seen yet.
No, I think that's what they do. I think that's how you get people to come. What you do is you get someone like Marvel on side and be like, look, it's February. You're you're gonna have a movie out in like 2 months. Show us a trailer, like a new exclusive trailer that we can get at this one.
But I don't think that's the big get. I think the bigger get is the movie they've got coming out in November, and there's been no trailer yet at all, and it's the first time you're seeing it.
Oh no, that's the thing. I think like because what you do is first ad break, you get here's a new trailer for the movie coming out in a month or two.
Yes.
And then every so often remind you, in the show, it's like, hey, stick around stick around because there'll be an ad for whatever's coming out in November.
Yes.
And then last ad break, here you go, there it is. Because then you still don't have to show it as part of the show itself, so you keep it tighter, and you can put it in your ad break and bring in extra revenue because of it. And you get and you're gonna get people to come and watch in the same way that people watch the Super Bowl for the trailers, right?
Yes.
Why are they not doing this?
They should do this. I guess it's because all the big blockbusters, it's not that audience that are watching. Although they're clearly trying to pull them in. On to the next part of this story. There's going to be a new award. There's going to be a most popular movie category. Which, I mean, the first joke I saw on Twitter, which I agree with, they already have their Oscar. It's called money. That's what they want.
Yeah. And they haven't actually talked about what the criteria for this is.
They haven't yet. But
do you just take the box office for the top 10 and go, right, okay, there's 10?
I mean, if that's what I mean, that makes sense to do that. But do you go to I don't know, the most talked about on social media for the year? What do you pick? Here's the thing though. So this is bullshit for a couple of reasons. It's bullshit from the perspective of it feels arbitrary, right? It also feels bullshit from the perspective of it's clearly a way for them to not get shit for not putting certain movies in best category. Because I feel like ever since The Dark Knight, there's been this thing almost every year where there's like one big popular movie where people say, that's good enough to win an Oscar. They should at least nominate that, and it doesn't happen.
Black Panther this year, isn't it?
It's Black Panther this year. Is what probably should be nominated. Now,
and it'll get like costume nominations probably.
Sure. I mean, I'm not even here to debate whether or not it should be nominated. I don't care.
Yeah.
The point here is that they know they're going to get flack for it, and they want a scapegoat. That's what this is. It's a scapegoat so that they can ignore the movies that the Academy, the old farts who don't watch the block. And here's the thing. As far as public opinion goes, as to these popular movies every year where they say, this one should get an Oscar. Like last year it was Wonder Woman. The year before that it was, I mean, technically Get Out was last year as well, but that actually was getting a lot of cred. And then the year before that there was something else. I'm pretty I'd say 60% of the time I disagree with the public.
I agree. Yeah,
I think
good, but it's not Oscar best movie worthy.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think half the films that are nominated are also not best movie worthy. So it's not like I agree with the Academy either. I don't necessarily think that Black Panther deserves Best Picture, right? I don't necessarily think it does. I think it's a very good movie. It's much better than I thought it was going to be. I think the third act is just kind of a shitty CG fight, and that kind of drags it down. And I don't think it deserves an Oscar because of that.
Same thing with Wonder Woman.
Same thing with Wonder Woman. Yeah, and I don't even know Wonder Woman was necessarily deserving before that. It was good. I think Black Panther from an objective point of view is better up until that point in the movie than Wonder Woman was. I think we like it more because we like DC characters more.
No, I think like for me, Wonder Woman going over the trench and the music coming in, that moment hit me more than anything in Black Panther.
Sure, Black Panther has better writing and themes though, and has a better. It tackles a subject. I feel like it's actually saying something. Whereas Wonder Woman, it's like, she's a hero. She fights for the good.
That's fair.
I mean, again, we're not really arguing the quality of these films. The point I'm making is that
we agree that they're not Oscar best film worthy.
Yes. There's very few big blockbusters that I do think fall into they deserve to be in Best Picture category. I honestly do. Like, I think. I mean, from this year, is there any big blockbusters I do think, just given the typical average of quality by the time we get to Oscar season, is there anything this year? I don't think there is. I would.
I might make an argument for The Incredibles 2, but that's just me. It might be part of my bias. Yeah,
because quite often, my favorite movie won't even be nominated for anything. That happens all the time. 2014. I thought it was an absolute crime that Tom Hardy was not nominated for Locke.
Oh, it was.
Absolute crime. It wasn't even mentioned anywhere. It was absolutely abysmal.
Yeah. I think people don't separate what their favourite film is with because right, let's take last. All right, I love Last Jedi. Okay, I love it. It was my favorite film of last year.
You fool.
But hang on, but I'm not saying okay, no, this is Oscar best film movie. It was my favorite, but that is a different thing,
No,
right?
Because here's the thing, I think Dark Knight deserved it, and I think because as much as I usually disagree with what the general consensus of the public opinion of this is popular, we want this in there this year, as much as I usually disagree with what the movie is they're picking, I do actually agree that there should be a place in Best Picture for that. I think Dark Knight's the one that, I would have had that in the Best Picture noms, and it was a shame that it wasn't nominated. And if it's going to be nominated, I want it to be in competition with the actual best films, not this weird bogey prize. This here's a category we made just for these popular blockbusters.
Do you know what is so annoying is because they're very publicly said no, okay, the point of this is that we want people to come and watch it, right? We want them to watch the ceremony, and most people haven't seen most of the films that we talk about that are nominated. So what we want to do is we want to have them to have a presence. We can have the cast come up and do the red carpet stuff, right?
I mean, so we're movie nerds, so we typically try and see the movies that were nominated for the most part.
But a lot of the general public don't, because they're not blockbusters. They're not that sort of movie.
And the solution to this is quite simple. You expand the Academy and you get more people to represent these other sectors of the audience.
Have a bit more diverse representation in what you're having voted in.
And I think that's the problem here. I think that's the problem is that we typically have old farts nominating and voting and things, and
it's just this is a very short-term solution.
Yeah,
this might work for a couple of years at first. When look, these movies are here now, but you give it, people will go, yeah, what's the point?
I mean, keep in mind, the nominations were stretched out to 10 as a max because of the same reason. They wanted to have that, we can maybe include a blockbuster now because there's 10. And then somehow it still seems to ignore them most of the time.
And I actually like that reason of, okay, no, we'll actually open up for diversification. We'll give it more room. Things that maybe would have got 6 or 7 now could be there. But it just hasn't worked out that way for whatever reason.
No. I think a year that something did get nominated and did get a fair amount of awards that I agree with should have been there was Mad Max. That deserved to be.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise. I think last year, stuff like Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out was a good win. That was a good example. It won a few awards. I think that's one
of those examples that, by widening the category, right, it got in there. I don't think it would have got in there if it hadn't.
It doesn't mean less though. If there's more nominations now. It's not getting into that top 5 anymore. It's getting into the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, they're usually not going all the way to 10 anyway, right? So it's 8 or 9. I still think that out of all the movies that year, I still think that means quite a lot. I think top 10 and top 5.
No, it means a lot. It just doesn't mean as much as 10 years ago when it was just 5.
No, that's fair. You can't dispute that it means objectively less.
Yes.
But I still think,
and the sad truth is,
speaking,
here's the sad truth though, is you can look at the nominations from last year, I think, and you could probably guess the 5 that would have been nominated if it was just 5. You can probably look at them and just guess.
I'd have to look at them again now to see what they were, but probably.
I think there maybe they'll usually maybe they'll be the 5th and 6th one will be borderline. I'll be okay, it'll be one of those 2, but. Yeah. I think there's always the 2 or 3 that are clear. They're only there because there's more nominations now.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And my cat is playing with bubble wrap. I'm just watching that from the side of my face. So yeah, I think this is bullshit. I think it's bullshit because it's giving them a scapegoat not to actually give genuinely good movies a chance at Best Picture when and if they deserve so. And it's bullshit for the ones that are winning because it's well, you got this special category made for you. It means nothing.
Yeah, and this is a whole award that now has to take the place. In this shorter broadcast, has to take the place of someone else, and they're gonna treat this like Best Picture in showing clips from all of these. I think because this is what they think this is what they think the public are here to see. Right? They're here to see all the films we've seen.
This feels desperate to me.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right. Let's move on. We have been a really long time in the comic book stuff and then the Oscar stuff, so we're going to speed through a lot of the rest of this. Bear with me. So Idris Elba has been cryptically tweeting this past week, teasing that he may or may not be up for James Bond. Cool. I don't care.
I'm down. This came like last week. There was every so often we get a flurry of rumors of who the next Bond's going to be. They come in like waves every 3 or 4 months maybe.
Yes.
And this time Idris Elba was up
to be
again.
fair, Elba's been in, people have been talking about him doing it for a long time now.
They have, and every so often he's the favorite, right? But he was for the last week or so, and then he tweets, and I'm like, okay,
I'm done.
Don't be a dick.
I'm done. I was wrestling it from the cat. He was making, scrunchy noises.
Yeah, but we couldn't hear that, so we didn't care. But I like Idris Elba a lot. I
love Idris Elba. I just don't give a shit about James Bond.
I do, and I want this, so I hope it's true.
Okay. Speaking of Idris Elba, he's attached to star and produced in a film called Ghetto Cowboy, a film based on the eponymous novel by Greg Neary. Or Neary maybe. Ricky Staub is directing the film, which is his first directorial debut. So the storyline follows a 15-year-old Cole, played by Elba, of course, who is forced. I'm joking.
I know.
Okay, well, just in case anyone thought Idris Elba was playing a 15-year-old, who is forced to live with his estranged father, played by Elba, in North Philadelphia. It's not the right Philadelphia. I was going to say born and raised, but it's not the right one. It's not North. It's West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Oh, God.
But it was so tempting. Anyway, where, despite the surrounding poverty and violence, he discovers the redemptive world of urban horseback riding.
Okay.
Cool.
Why not?
Next up, Ben Schwartz, aka Jean-Ralphio, has been cast as the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog in the Sonic movie that's coming up.
Oh my God, it's perfect.
Which also stars James Marsden and Jim Carrey, of course, as the Dr. Robotnik, the villainous Dr. Robotnik.
I didn't realise how perfect this casting was until I've just I can hear it.
I grew up on Sonic, the games. I even watched the cartoon as a kid.
Yeah.
I love chili dogs. And
I'm reading the new comic at the minute. It's a blast.
It made me. I grew up wanting to try a chili dog because of that cartoon, and I eventually tried one. It was pretty good. It was better than a regular hot dog, because I think regular hot dogs are like really bland and just kind of like
they're really low on the food chain, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, I suppose if you're out of burgers, I'll take a hot dog.
Yeah, like I can eat one and it's fine, but I never crave a hot dog. But if you happen to have a chili hot dog, I might get a chili hot dog. Although, if you can throw that chili on a burger instead, I'll just get it.
Burgers are better than hot dogs.
Yeah, burgers are better than hot dogs. That is just pure fact. Anyway, Gal Gadot is also now, speaking of voicing roles, she is voicing her character in the Wreck-It Ralph sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet. She will play a tough and talented driver in an intense and gritty online racing game called Slaughter Racer. Or Slaughter Race, rather. I actually wouldn't mind playing a game called Slaughter Race.
Sounds so fun. I know that they actually put out like a minute teaser for her character. I've not watched it yet, but that's cool.
But obviously it's funny because she was in Fast and the Furious, like a few of them, so it's just kind of funny. It's almost like she's doing that role in a weird way.
I think that's the point. In the same way that they're being really referential with all the Disney princesses and stuff. I think that's the idea here.
Yeah. So next up, Roland Emmerich's big budget epic Midway is cast a bunch of roles. Aaron Eckhart's been cast, Keanu Johnson, Twinabu Azano, Dennis Quaid, Nick Jonas. They join Luke Evans, Woody Harrelson, Mandy Moore, Ed Skrein, and Patrick Wilson.
It's quite a cast.
As a big cast. Based on the true story of the Battle of Midway, the turning point in the Pacific theatre of World War II, the 100 million plus action drama will chronicle the exploits of the soldiers and the pilots at the heart of the conflict. So it's a war movie.
Yeah, I'm out.
It's a war movie directed by the guy who did The Day After Tomorrow and 10,000 BC.
I don't need that in my life.
Nor do I. It's a shame. He's got a cast. He's got a hell of a cast, but I'm fine. Next up, Star Trek 4's in trouble because Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth basically couldn't agree to be in the film because they were both named Chris and they couldn't agree.
Imagine losing like two of the three biggest Chris's in Hollywood in one go.
Obviously, you get Pratt and Evans, so it's 4.
Oh, 4. Yeah, okay. I'm overlooking Evans.
Because I was thinking Pine's the 4th one, and I'm like, yeah, who are you missing?
No, you're right. No, I was overlooking Evans.
That's weird. Pine's pretty big, but he's the fourth Chris. He's the fourth one.
He is definitely the fourth Chris. You're right.
Three of them. That's why I remember those another three, because they're all in Marvel.
Oh yeah, good point.
They're all Marvel actors. Anyway, so Chris Pine and Hemsworth have walked away from Star Trek 4. The talks have fallen through. Apparently, it's a money dispute. Paramount are trying to shortchange them based on their contracts. They want to make the film smaller budget, which is commendable given that Star Trek doesn't make as much money as it used to, and it makes sense to reduce it. But here's the problem. I don't know why Hemsworth was locked into a contract. He only had a small part in the first one, but Pine for sure had a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And they want to try and reduce the deal, and he's like, no, I'm happy to do it, but I signed on for this amount. You're paying me that amount.
Yeah, no, I get that. I can appreciate that. Hemsworth's a weirder one. I don't know quite what's going on there. Because like you say, he was there for, what, 10 minutes?
Apparently he had a deal of some kind if he ever returned, and here we're having the fallout. And here's the thing, from their perspective, Pine's off doing Wonder Woman, Hemsworth's off doing Thor and Avengers movies. Like, them getting paid less for a Star Trek movie doesn't... I get why that's not appealing. Like...
Yeah, I mean, I get... If they did have a clause in his contract, Hemsworth would have been relatively cheap back then.
He would have been, yeah. That was
what, 2009, so pre-Thor, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I think when the movie... Certainly when they cast him, he had not been cast as Thor yet. I think he probably had been... By the time the movie came out, he was cast probably, but...
Maybe just about, yeah.
Yeah. They've been shooting it in 2010.
Thor was 2011, right?
Yeah.
That came out. So he probably would have been just about cast, but I mean, maybe not public yet.
I can't remember. You could go back and check if you really wanted to. There's no point in speculating aimlessly. So... I mean, it sounded like a fun idea, and we really like... Beyond was really good. We both like Beyond a lot.
I love Beyond.
It's easily the best of the three new films.
No competition.
And I love the idea of a time travel one with Hemsworth back and the cast back. Admittedly, I'm not like that heartbroken if Star Trek 4 doesn't happen, because we're going to have a shit ton of Star Trek TV.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I think this would have hurt a lot more, right?
Yeah, but I mean...
Okay, that's it. I'm losing the franchise for a while.
We have multiple Star Trek shows in development. We have a Jean-Luc Picard with Patrick Stewart back. We have more Discovery, and they've openly admitted that they're planning on having like at least one Star Trek show at all times, like once per week, all year round, between all the different shows. So, I mean, I'm going to have enough Star Trek in my life.
Yeah, it's still a little disappointing, don't get me wrong, because I really liked Beyond. I really like the cast specifically as well. I think they play off each other so well.
Yeah.
And Beyond felt like they finally found their groove, and I was looking forward to more of that. So it's disappointing, but
yeah, and I was hoping
I'm getting a lot more.
I was hoping the badass alien chick that joined the team was going to be back as well.
Yeah, no, that's
true. She was good. She was a nice addition. But hey,
and also Urban as Bones is just inspired casting and is just criminally underused.
Yeah, but now he's free for that Dread TV show, so shut up. Moving on.
Yes.
Voltage Pictures has acquired the spec script The Fisherman by writer John C. Richards. The original story centers on a soft-spoken Vietnam-era top sniper, now dying of cancer, who becomes a vigilante killer with the help of a sympathetic policeman.
Got slightly more interesting there at the end.
I'd say got a lot more interested. I wasn't interested either with the Vietnam part, but then I was like, he has a vigilante. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. I just assume he's just going to go full Punisher.
Yeah, very possibly. Richards most recently co-wrote the HBO Al Pacino movie Paterno and is currently writing a pilot for AMC. So nothing to base my opinion on, but I mean, he's got work going there. So
yeah.
Next up, two-time Oscar winner Hilary Swank has been set to star in Dion Taylor's noir thriller Fatale. Fatale centers on a married man who is tricked into a murder scheme by a seductive female police detective. Swank plays the detective. Taylor's next film, The Intruder, is coming soon, and he's going to direct Fatale and produce it. So,
yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a quick one. There's not a lot to say on it, but I thought it was interesting enough to mention. So that's cool. And then next up, Poldark and Valley Girl star Josh Whitehouse has been cast in a film called Happy Worker, alongside Thomas Hayden Church, Cole Meany, and Megan Holder. Production is underway in Utah right now. This is notable. It's been directed by Dwayne Dunham, and I meant to say Dwayne because it's Duwayne.
Right. Okay.
So it's not Dwayne, it's Dwayne. That strikes me as funny. Man of the Rock was called Dwayne Johnson. Not Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne.
I feel like it just opens you up to a lot more jokes.
It does, because, like, you could...
You Dwayne.
Yeah, you Dwayne. Dwayne. I'm Dwayne. No, you Dwayne. As if it's two brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's been directed by him, who is a long-time collaborator of David Lynch. And David Lynch is executive producing the film. The film follows Joe, who lives in a utopian community. A reluctant hero eager to please his wife and his boss, he unexpectedly finds himself thrust into the position of power by Cleet, and must battle to save what he and others have spent years building. There's not a lot to go on there, outside of the fact that it's set in a utopia, and there's like a struggle for it.
Am I supposed to believe that a utopia exists in Utah?
No, I think what you mean to say is, am I supposed to believe that Utah still exists when a utopia is formed?
Take your pick.
Yes. So I have no idea what White House has worked on some Twin Peaks.
Okay.
Worth mentioning that. It's based on a play.
What was his role in that, though?
It's based on a play from 1982. I'll let I copied that part down. I think he directed. Or he didn't direct any of the new stuff, but I think he. I don't know. I have no idea actually.
Okay.
I have no idea. I think when I read it, I assumed he directed some episodes, but then I remembered Lynch directed all those episodes, so it can't be that.
Yeah.
But so it doesn't sound like a Lynchian project, but who knows? This could be a lot weirder than it's sounding.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
You never know. Alright, moving on, we have Jessica Chastain and Eddie Redmayne are in advanced negotiations to star in The Good Nurse, which is a thriller based on the book by Charles Graeber and scripted by Christy Wilson Cairns. Tobias Lindholm is going to make his English language directing debut, so he's directed stuff in Denmark. He worked on a film called A War, which won the foreign movie Oscar that year, or nominated rather. It was nominated in 2015. More interesting to our experience though, he co-wrote The Hunt.
Ooh, OLO.
So interesting. The film tells a true story of the pursuit and capture of Charlie Cullen, a nurse who regarded as one of the most prolific serial killers in history, now called the Angel of Death. I'm not sure why the movie's not called that, to be honest. It feels like a better title. But Cullen was a married father who was thought to be a responsible caretaker, but his secret compulsion to take life led to his implication in the deaths of as many as 300 patients over 16 years, spread across 9 hospitals in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Redmayne will play Cullen, who was caught by 2 former Newark homicide detectives who wouldn't let go, aided by a nurse who worked alongside Cullen and risked her job and family's safety to stop him, and that would be Chastain. So he's going to play that, and that's the good nurse, if you will. The nurse who went out of her way to save everyone. Which I get they're going with the positive title, but I still feel like Angel of Death's a better title.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's because it's quite a big famous story, so you're drawing connotations, right?
Yeah.
Also, I think because the first thing I thought, you tell me, oh, Redmayne and Chastain, it's called The Good Nurse. That sounds like Oscar bait, right? It sounds immediately. My mind goes to okay, it's that sort of movie, just based on that information alone. So I think that they might hope that some people go, oh, maybe it'll be that sort of film, and they'll go check it out based on those things. But if you call it The Angel of Death,
you could have an Oscar movie called Angel of Death.
You could, but just saying, though, in terms of audience capture.
This is perfect for a movie, though. Two retired detectives who just couldn't let it go, struggling to make the case work. A nurse who went undercover almost to try and stop him. Yeah, this is perfect for movie making.
Yeah, surprised it hasn't happened already, honestly.
But hey, so and you get this director who worked on The Hunt, and then his film was nominated for an Oscar. Yeah, we got some cred here.
We do.
Moving on, MoviePass Films. That's right, MoviePass have got their film studio now.
Are they not screwed enough already as it is?
Yeah, like all I hear is bad news about MoviePass and how they're doing financially. But here we go. MoviePass Films CEOs and co-founders Randall Emmett, George Furla, and Tad Farnsworth have set a film up called 10 Minutes Gone, which is going to star Bruce Willis. The production starts soon.
I bet they're not paying him enough to get a good performance out of him.
Probably not. Brian A. Miller will direct the script from Kelvin Mao and Jeff Jingle. Jeff Jingle, what a name!
That's a great name.
Jeff Jingle. The story follows a man who loses 10 minutes of his memory due to being hit by a stray bullet during a bank heist gone wrong. He must put the pieces of his broken memory together in order to find out who sabotaged the job and took the money, all while being pursued by a powerful crime boss hell-bent on recovering the cash. Bruce Willis will be playing the crime boss, so he's probably going to have that much screen time.
Oh, yeah. Way cheap then.
He'll have the... oh, God. Who was in Blood Rain?
Oh,
dignified actor.
I can picture his face. The name's not coming to me.
Oh my god. Regardless, he will be there for 2 days. They'll have him one room for 2 days and then get rid of him.
They might have him stand up.
May even stand up. Yes. That name's is bugging the show. I mean,
you're just gonna blurt it out later in the show, aren't you?
Possibly, if it comes to me, sure. But yeah, I mean, this sounds like it could be a decent action movie, like, because there's some twists and turns you could do with this where, okay, the guy who lost 10 minutes, okay, so maybe he's part of the robbery and he cares about who double crossed him. Maybe he's not part of the robbery, but the 10 minutes, like, I don't know. I think there's potential in the concept. I don't necessarily get a lot of promise from this description.
Yeah, I agree. The concept itself, I'm like, 10 minutes is an interesting amount of time. It's short enough that, okay, some stuff can happen, but you can't go stupidly over the top with it.
Yeah. But hey. Next up, Rebecca Hall has set up her directorial debut. I mean, you know her as an actress. She's been on a bunch of stuff. Iron Man 3, I think, maybe, perhaps most famously.
Yeah.
She set up a film called Passing, which is an adaptation based on Nella Larsen's 1920s Harlem Renaissance novel that explores the practice of racial passing, a term used for a person classified as a member of one racial group who seeks to be accepted by a different racial group. Hall has penned the script, so she's written it as well, and will direct it as her debut. Westworld star Tessa Thompson is going to be in it, as is Oscar nominee Ruth Negga, who's from Preacher and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I mean, been a while since we've heard Tessa Thompson's name pop up in the news, so we were due.
And by a while, you mean like more than a month.
Yeah.
Which for any actor is actually really normal, but for her, she was in like every week's news for about 2 months, so it just feels weird to go this long.
I mean, I feel like this is the start of another flurry now.
Probably. That's a great pair of cast members, though.
Oh yeah, both of those are great actors.
They're both excellent, so that's great. First published in 1929, Passing follows an unexpected reunion of two high school friends, Claire Kendry and Irene Redfield, whose renewed acquaintance ignites a mutual obsession that threatens both of their carefully constructed realities. So, I can see Oscar potential in this, actually. I mean, I don't know what Hall's directing is like. I mean, Hall might not be up to the task, but with those two cast members in this subject, I feel like...
Yeah, I can definitely see at least some acting nominations, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Because Ruth Negga got a nomination last year, right? The year before?
I had that the year before for...
Loving, I think it was called.
Loving, yeah, with Edgerton.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Thompson's going to get one at some point anyway. She's in enough, she's good enough. She's going to get one eventually.
Sure. Paramount has optioned the screen rights to Blitzed, based on the provocative Norman Ohler non-fiction book that uncovers the untold aspect of what fueled the Nazi war machine during World War II, as seen through the eyes of Adolf Hitler's personal physician, Dr. Theodor Morell. Morell's position gave him direct access to the most evil figure in modern history, and the book made headlines for all the drugs that were prescribed to Hitler and others in the Third Reich during the war. It'll be adapted by Paul Schuring, best known for being the creator and writer and executive producer of Prison Break. Not a high mark, honestly, in my book, but fair enough.
Yeah.
It's an interesting perspective. I like the idea of like this story told through his doctor, who has all these secrets because he's his doctor.
Yeah, and he's got that confidentiality.
Yeah, and I can just see like Hitler making all these really crazy demands and like being, like his job probably being very scary. Assuming that he's not like I mean, for all I know, he was like a diehard Nazi, but I'm assuming he wasn't.
I think the reason to make the film is that he's not, right?
Yes.
Or at least in this dramatic retelling, he won't be. And it'll be, you'll have like, okay, him being worried. Okay, do I tell Hitler he's ill?
the fact that he went on to presumably tell someone all this would imply that he.
Yeah, I'm not sure because it sounds like it was written down. So was it just it was found?
Oh sure, yeah, maybe he had journals and stuff. Yeah, so maybe it wasn't. That's true. Could be.
Yeah.
I feel like for the sake of the movie though, it's more interesting if he's not evil himself.
Yeah, like I say, at least in this dramatic retelling, he'll be much more sympathetic. I'm sure. Even he may have been in real life. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just guessing at this point.
Yeah.
All right, that takes us on to the horror section now. So, first up in the horror section, you remember a film that I told you about maybe a month or so ago called Satanic Panic?
I do remember that name. I don't remember what the film was, but I remember that name.
Well, it's written by Grady Hendrix. It's about a pizza delivery girl who, at the end of her financial rope, has to fight for her life and her tips when her last order of the night turns out to be a high society of Satanists in need of a virgin sacrifice.
I do recall this one now because I was really into it.
Yeah, it's a horror comedy. After hours horror comedy. Sounds like it's all set in one night. Sounds good. The news though is that it's got a director. Chelsea Stardust is going to direct it, which is a fantastic name, might I add. Not that I know who this is, I just wanted to remind everyone that Satanic Panic's a thing and it's moving along nicely. So
I'm down because I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I hope she's up to the challenge.
Yes. And then last news item this week. Just second thing.
Short horror section.
Short horror section. The Tall Grass, In the Tall Grass, which is the Stephen King Netflix movie that's happening.
Another one.
Well, we talked about this before. That's come up before. And I think I went on a rant about how there's tons of King adaptations now because it did so goddamn well.
Yeah.
But
Netflix have two themselves already.
Yes, this is the third. So Vincenzo Natali, who is most commonly known for Cube, which is very good, and then Splice, which I wasn't as into, but he also directed episodes of Westworld, so he's got some credit to him. He's going to direct it, and Patrick Wilson is going to be in it, along with Leslie de Oliveira and Harrison Gilbertson. So you got some cast there. Cool. Just to remind you what this one is, after hearing about a young boy's cry for help, a sister and a brother venture into a vast field of tall grass in Kansas, but soon discover that there may be no way out, and that something evil lurks within the grass. So,
sounds like a Stephen King story.
It kind of does. Sounds not bad.
Yeah.
So, no, there you go. That's the news for the week.
Cool.
I can't deny it gave us some good discussion early on. So I mean, it was a reasonable week for movie news, I suppose, in that sense. So you had a couple of movies you said you had that you can mention that you watched.
I did, yeah. Obviously, so we're doing our world cinema countdown at the end of the month.
Yes, on 1.21 in Flux, we're doing top 50 world cinema movies. We'll each make our own personal list and count down, alternating them. We've done it before. You can go check out our past countdowns: top 50 sci-fi, top 50 of the 2000s, and top 50 of the 90s.
So I thought I'd stay on theme for the month, see if I can get a couple in. Maybe things might sneak onto the list. Who knows?
Actually, Joe, what's excited about this is we didn't want to do the 80s next because we just done the 90s last time, so we wanted to put something in between. The exciting part about that, because I love the 80s so much, the exciting part about that for me is that ends up being our New Year's Christmassy one at the end of the year. So it's special, it's a treat. The top 50 movies of the 80s at the end of the year. It's exciting. Anyway,
are we doing that on top of all the end of year stuff then?
Yeah, because that's and we did that last year. That's like Influxy's thing at the end of the year.
Oh, we did, didn't we? I can't remember when we did. That was months ago.
Yeah.
That was over half a year ago.
And besides, we don't do the movie end of year stuff until Oscar season now.
That's a good point. I'd forgotten about that.
So that wouldn't even happen at the same time. So shut it.
All right, fine. Screw you. Anyway, I thought I'd be on theme, see what can sneak in. There's a new anime movie released on Netflix last week called Flavors of Youth. It's an anthology story. It's from the studio that made Your Name a couple of years ago, which was very highly regarded. Shut up. These are just three little dramas, basically. It's based on like a Chinese idiom that the only things, the four things that people need are like food, clothes, home, and transportation. Like if you have those, you can be happy. So it's these three shorts dealing with these three themes. The first one is pretty good. It's about it's about this man who remembers these noodles that he used to have, and how it reminds him of home and when he was younger and living there. The animation is gorgeous, a little bit over narrated, but still very good. The second one is this fashion model and being challenged by this younger up and coming model and her relationship with her sister. Again, very good. Probably my least favorite of the three, though. The third one is definitely my favorite, which is it's this guy who he's graduated from college, and he's come back home, and it's a bit later now, and he's found this cassette tape from when he was younger, and it brings back all these memories of this girl he was into, and and he's trying to find somewhere to play this cassette tape that he never listened to that was from her, and it's this nice little story jumping between the times. It's all backwards. Sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
I'll flip it. It's fine.
Fine, but either way, it's a nice little that one in particular was really good. Worth checking out if you're interested on Netflix.
Next time I'll rate it backwards. I'll be ahead of the game.
Yeah, you'll be ready.
Yeah. For those in the audio version, I spent the time there writing "anime was a mistake" on my notepad and held it up to the screen.
It's all right. You'll watch them soon.
We'll see.
Oh no, you will. And the other one was actually an anime movie as well. It was a Studio Ghibli one.
Oh, I've got time to write it backwards then. Hold on.
No, this is one that I'd been wanting to watch for a while because it was one that probably appealed to me most out of all their movies, and that was Princess Mononoke. Because it just like everything about that world that I'd seen from it was like, yep, I need to see that, and it did not disappoint. It is a fantastic movie, and it really hit hard, and it is gorgeous. So yeah, I'm glad I finally watched that one.
I wasn't into that one as much. The Miyazaki.
I can see you not being into that one as much, but it definitely hits all my sort of checklist stuff.
I'll be honest, I've forgotten the entire plot. I couldn't even tell you anything about it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But it's all so you got the forest gods, the wolves. It's all
yeah. And I know I'm the weird one here. I know it's a very highly regarded film. I'm well aware of that. This is just me.
Yeah, you can't really argue it though too much. But
I can't remember it well enough to argue it.
Yeah, no, I realise it's probably my favourite of theirs that I've seen now.
All right, cool. Well, that's the movie news this week. We already promoted the shit out of the countdown at the end of the month, the top 50 world cinema, so I don't have to do that. In terms of what's coming up on the channel review-wise, the most recent Godzilla film we did just went public for everyone and in flux. That was Godzilla vs. Hedorah, or aka Godzilla vs. Pollution. You can check out that if you've been enjoying our Godzilla reviews every so often. That one's there. The patrons got the early episode. They got Samurai 2, so another Japanese movie, funnily enough. They got Samurai 2 Duel at Ichijojo Temple. So that'll go up next week for the public. In fact, 1.21 Overload went public this week, actually. The last one Matt did. That is Bubba Hotep, so you can check out that as well. If you haven't already. That's a really fun Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell plays an older Elvis who takes on a mummy at an old folks home. It may sound silly, and it is silly, but it's amazing silly. And it has a lot more heart and a lot more to say than you probably think it does. So I'd highly recommend checking out the movie, but check out a review as well. So there was that, and then Screams After Midnight. What did we have got? We had Thelma Go Up, which was which was a vault pick. Vault's 121. It was a crypt pick. Yes, we did the Crypt movie, which is our patrons get to submit movies to a to-do list. The Crypt's for the Screams After Midnight, the Vault is for 121 in Flux, and then the Fortress is actually for comic books, for the monthly episode of Comics for the Multiverse. And that was something we picked for Screams, and we did that. So that was another foreign movie, actually. That was I forgot what country that was from.
Norwegian, maybe?
I think it was Norwegian. Yeah, it was definitely.
It's somewhere in that region, right?
It was definitely Scandinavia-esque. Yes.
Yeah. Worth noting now that maybe you're thinking about becoming a patron, and you're interested in submitting things to the vault. We will be picking one very soon to do in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, in about 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing a vault pick. So,
if you want some hints onto what to suggest, it will likely be a foreign movie that we pick.
Yeah, because we're doing the World Cinema Countdown at the end of the month. We're probably doing more foreign films this month as a build up to that. So that's cool. So obviously we mentioned Patreon. Patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. you can of course go over there and become a patron and support, get access to things like the Crypt in the Vault, get access to certain things early. Our influxes go up a week early. You get access to various things, and voting rates of course at the higher tiers, and of course it does help us out. And if you can't do that, don't feel too bad though. You can of course help us by liking, subscribing, commenting, all the rest of it. And even as simple as this sounds, watch the ads on YouTube. Turn your ad block off, watch the ads at the start, and whatever. So do that. Also, worth mentioning, just back to Screams After Midnight for a second, you might have noticed some older episodes going back up recently from the old channel. That'll be happening sort of once per week gradually for a while, just to sort of work through some of the old episodes that are kind of worth having kind of, transported over. So they're old content, but you might not have seen them. They're a little bit rougher. The audio quality is not quite as good as it is now, and there might be like references to things that don't really apply anymore because they were 2 years old. But
which one did you put up this week?
I just put up Darling, which is a low-budget movie I loved. So
that's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, actually, Mickey Keaton's next movie, I believe, is on Shudder. I really need to get around to watching that. But it's to that invitation went up the week before. So it's just to warn you that's going up. It's going up in the audio feed as well, because that's the other one of the big reasons is that any of the movies that are from 2016 that we did aren't on the audio feed. So that's part of the reason for it, is they're getting updated on there. We're also bringing them over to the new channel, or the current channel, as we go as well. So yeah, that's just I'd like everyone filled in why that's happening and when you're seeing it. They're different. They're color coded though. You'll notice they're not purple like the regular ones. They're more of a grey scale theme, just to sort of signify that they're old content. And of course, when we get to October, the October-thon movies are all orange.
Of course they are.
So you can look forward to that. But here, that's us. That is 121 Movie News. Thank you very much for watching or listening. We appreciate it always. We really do. So thank you very much once again. Keep watching movies, and we will see you next time.